Good evening. This 89th meeting of the 72nd term of the Baltimore City Council is now called to order. Members of the council, due to us being in a virtual meeting, I will recognize you by saying you have the floor, calling your name. Once I recognize you, please state your name and then begin talking. Tonight, in lieu of an invocation, we will have a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, tonight we have a showcase. Tonight's showcase will be delivered by Brianna Hopkins, CEO of Common Core Chants. Brianna, the floor is all yours, ma'am.
Hello. All right, good evening, everyone. I am pleased to be a part of your meeting this evening. My name is Brianna Hopkins, and I am the founder of Common Core Chant. I started tutoring in 2013 virtually while I was earning my dual bachelor's degree in early childhood and elementary education. When I initially started college at Frostburg State University, I majored in engineering. Due to the fact that I was a proud Poly alumni, I thought engineering was certainly the way to go. I made it through my first year of college with a 3.9 GPA, which was excellent, but I was truly unhappy. I was ashamed to tell my mother that I wanted to switch my major to education because I knew she was so proud of me for wanting to become an engineer. Once I became an educator, it was truly love at first sight. I helped my professors pilot a $3.8 billion grant-funded program through the United States Department of Education. This program is called Pathways to Profession and allows students at Coppin State University to gain the opportunity to teach in a rural community such as Frostburg, while also allowing Frostburg students the privilege of teaching students in an urban setting like Baltimore City. This experience still exists today amongst both phenomenal universities. In 2013, I decided to start a tutoring business because a great deal of parents were struggling with new math. Parents couldn't grasp the concept of tape diagrams, arrays, and drawing a million pictures just to solve one math. All knew raise a one and to skip it. I noticed how far parents would get just trying to solve basic math homework. So I decided to take the burden off of parents with Common Core Chant. I started tutoring students that were in the second and third grade, and now those students attend Poly, Gilman, Western Tech, and Woodlawn. I have maintained a close relationship with each child, and I have literally watched them grow and excel in and out of school. I believe in teaching the whole child. Everything is a teachable moment, from the way they enter my tutoring sessions to cheering each other on when math problems get tough. My main goal when starting tutoring was to inspire African American children to be more than athletes and rappers and drug dealers and weebologist. I've created such a positive educational environment that my students have grown to love school. I accept the challenge of any student, despite how they feel about school or despite their behavior in a school setting. Once they have the structure of tutoring, they see how well their peers are doing, and they end up loving school and tutoring. Throughout my experiences in Baltimore City and County Public Schools, I have encountered many trials and tribulations, but it was always important for me to remain resilient. I pour that same resilience into my students today in helping them find the importance of reaching your full potential. Life isn't always going to be easy, but education is always worth it. I have tutored over 75 kids in the past 7 years, and out of those 7 years, 29 students still come to tutoring twice a week. My tutoring business is like an extended family. The kids become friends and invite one another to their birthday parties. Some of my girls cheerlead together, and 2 of my students actually started a slime business this summer. In March 2020, when schools closed due to COVID, I had to come up with a plan to ensure my students' academic abilities would not fall short. With that being said, I decreased my rates and taught each student 4 times per week. It was more important for me to help my students maintain their academic ability than to gain a higher salary. Our tutoring continued throughout the summer, and I added science to our weekly classes. So far, we've created starfish, oceans in jars, edible animal cells, slime plant cells, planted tomatoes, and discussed ways to save the earth through recycling. My students love coming to tutoring. My older students are reading The Hate You Give and discussing how Black Lives Matter, and my younger students are reading the novel Wonder, which is teaching them that when in doubt, choose being kind over being right, which is something many adults struggle with today. One of my most proud moments was actually last week. I've been working with a student for a past year, and he did not know his alphabet, and he was diagnosed with autism. Now, since COVID has taken place and we've been working 4 times a week, he is reading on grade level. Oftentimes, people find working with students with special needs a challenge, and they're not willing to work through it. Now, my student with autism is on track to surpass his classmates this school year. I am so proud of him. All in all, Common Core Champs has shaped many minds and hearts, and because of tutoring, my kids will have a brighter tomorrow. I am proud to be an educator in Maryland, especially in Baltimore City. We have truly some amazing kids. If you have any questions in regards to Common Core Champs, my email address is commoncorechamps@gmail.com, and my telephone number is 443-272-5255. 443-272-5255. Thank you so much, and please stay safe during COVID-19.
Thank you, Ms. Hopkins. Roll call. The clerk will now call the roll of the members.
President Scott.
Present.
Councilman Cullen.
Present.
Councilwoman McCray.
Present.
Councilman Dorsey.
Present.
Councilman Henry.
Here.
Councilman Schreiber.
Here.
Vice President Middleton.
Present.
Councilman Pinkett.
Present.
Councilman Burnett.
Present.
Councilman Bullock.
Present.
Councilman Reisinger.
Present.
Councilman Costello.
Present.
Councilman Stokes.
Present.
Councilwoman Sneed.
Here.
Councilwoman Clark.
Here.
Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you. We will now proceed with the adoption of the journal.
Mr. President, the journal for the July 2020 proceedings on the council members' inboxes.
Without objection, the journal will be adopted. The journal is adopted. The bill signed by the mayor can be found in the council members' inboxes. Also, please note, council members, that communications from the mayor regarding a veto can also be found in the council members' inboxes. Bills to be introduced.
City Council Bill 20-0570, zoning, railroad right-of-ways, billboards, for the purpose of authorizing, subject to limitations and requirements, the erection of new billboards within a railroad right-of-way and within a railroad facility that adjoins a railroad right-of-way, and correcting, conforming, and clarifying related language. Sponsor, President Scott.
Thank you. This bill regulates outdoor advertising that's located on a railroad right-of-way. As I spoke about earlier at the luncheon, this legislation clarifies this outdoor advertising is permitted on this route, but it puts limitations and regulations, making sure that they can only be in places facing the interstate highway and, of course, at least 500 feet apart. And this is also a way for us to have these official process in place so that these things can be regulated in order to also collect revenue. We've been working closely with planning and the administration on this bill, and I look forward to having a discussion with each of our colleagues as we go forward with the hearing and throughout the process. This bill has been assigned to the Land Use Committee.
City Council Bill 20-0571, Planned Unit Development, Village of Cross Keys, for the purpose of repealing the existing development plan for the Village of Cross Keys Planned Unit Development and approving a new development plan for the Village of Cross Keys Planned Unit Development. Sponsor, Middleton.
Chair recognizes Council Vice President Middleton.
Thank you, Mr. President. This planned unit development basically started with a development group had an idea and interest in working with the owners, but at first they wanted to take it to the neighborhood. And of course, they started with the Cross Keys Maintenance Corporation, which is right there in Cross Keys. They also did a briefing with the Roland Park Civic League and included more residents from the village of Cross Keys, and also got support letters from the Baltimore Country Club. For those of you that do not know the area, it's nestled right in between the Poly Western campus and also towards that end of Northern Parkway, and it's a very well-attended nursery right there on that corner. This developer met, I can say it over and over again, he met with all the various communities to get their approval first before he ventured into trying to come up with an agreement for sale from the owners. And it's just really, I think it's a good opportune time with development beginning to take place at the Pimlico Racetrack and various other areas throughout that northern and northwest area. This proposal is just for the commercial area. The residential area is separately owned. We know right there in the commercial area, over the years, a number of businesses just couldn't survive. The upkeep of the buildings were deteriorating. If it wasn't for the now, I think it's Marriott there, and Williams-Sonoma and Talbot's have kind of been anchors with also a cafe. And these developers plan to bring in they want to maintain that Baltimore feel within the Cross Keys. They want to keep some Baltimore original boutiques, maybe a proposed gym and offices and a gourmet type grocery store and just some other amenities, not just for the residents, but for the whole surrounding communities, to bring back that feel that Cross Keys had many, many years ago. So I'm looking forward to a good hearing. This is something that's going to benefit, again, not only the residents of that area, but just the entire neighborhood. People all over the city stop in and visit Cross Keys for various things, whether it's a dental appointment or, it's a lot of medical offices there, and there are more proposed to be coming as well. So I'm looking forward for this overwhelming positive improvement of the area to take place. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. This bill has been assigned to the Land Use Committee. Thank you. Mr. Young? We can't hear you. We can hear you now, Mr. Young.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I'm sorry. My computer is frozen. Mr. President, I'm going to go ahead and step in because my computer is frozen. I can't move anything right now. I don't even know how I can't even see what I'm doing.
We'll pause for 1 second, everybody.
City Council Bill 20-0572, rezoning 1301 North Fulton Avenue, for the purpose of changing the zoning for the property known as 1301 North Fulton Avenue, Block 0032, Lot 051, as outlined in red on the accompanying plat, from the R8 zoning district to the C1 zoning district. Sponsors, Pinkett.
Chair recognizes Councilman Pinkett.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a rezoning of a packaged goods store at 1301 North Fulton Avenue from the R8 to C1. This rezoning is supported by the community, and their package includes a support letter from the Fulton Avenue Association. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Pinkett. Colleagues, just for the record, in reference to the communication from the mayor about the veto, that was a veto of bill of 1903 at 382, Charter Amendment, City Administrator. Thank you. The consent calendar can be found in Section A in the agenda. Committee reports. We will now move to bills on second reader. Chair recognizes Councilman Costello.
Mr. President, I move that we read short titles, second and third reader for the duration of the meeting.
Without objection, short titles will be read for the remainder of the meeting. Short titles will be read for the remainder of the meeting. Land Use Committee.
City Council Bill 20-0507, rezoning, 1720 Frederick Avenue.
Chair recognizes Councilman Reisinger.
Mr. President, move the finding of facts.
Without objection, the findings of facts will be approved. The findings of facts are approved. Chair recognizes Councilman Reisinger.
Mr. President, move the bill favorable.
All those in favor of approving this bill say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. The motion is approved. This bill moves to third reader.
City Council Bill 20-0512, rezoning, 1301 East 4th Avenue.
Chair recognizes Councilman Reisinger.
Mr. President, move the finding of facts.
Without objection, the findings of fact will be approved. The findings of fact are approved. Chair recognizes Councilman Reisinger.
Mr. President, I move the bill favorable.
All those in favor of approving this bill say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed say nay. Chair recognizes Councilman Costello.
Mr. President, I move that this bill. Mr. President, I move to suspend the appropriate rules to move this bill from second and third reader on the same day.
Roll call.
President Scott.
Yes.
Councilman Cohen.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCray.
Yes.
Councilman Dorsey.
Yes.
Councilman Henry.
Yes.
Councilman Slifer.
Yes.
Council Vice President Middleton.
Yes.
Councilman Pinkett.
Yes.
Councilman Burnett. Councilman Bullock.
Yes.
Councilman Reisinger.
Yes.
Councilman Costello.
Yes.
Councilman Stokes.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sneed.
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark.
Yes.
Mr. President, the ayes have it. It's a unanimous vote.
Thank you. The ayes have it. This bill moves to third reader today. Taxation, Finance, and Economic Development Committee.
City Council Bill 20-0536, Minority and Women Business Program, interim extension.
Chair recognizes Council Vice President Middleton.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Taxation, Finance, Economic Development Committee, heard this bill on Thursday, July 23rd, 2020. The sponsor was President Scott on behalf of the administration. The committee approved the bill as favorable. I move the bill favorable.
Those in favor of approving this bill say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. This motion is approved. This bill moves to third reader. Before we continue, I want to state that Bill 20-0572, rezoning 1301 North Fulton Avenue, is assigned to the Land Use Committee. All right. Third reader requiring invocation of City Council Rule 12-1 for same day advance to second to third reader.
City Council Bill 20-0512, rezoning 1301 Eastport Avenue. President Scott, Cohen, McCray, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Snead, Clark.
This bill is approved. Third reader for final passage.
City Council Bill 20-0510, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force Composition. Revisions and clarifications. President Scott, Cohen, McCray, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Snead, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 20-0525, zoning, conditional use, conversion of a single-family dwelling unit to a two-dwelling unit in the R8 zoning district, variance 316 East 21st Street.
Pause for 1 second, everybody. I'm having a technical difficulty in the chamber. Pause for 1 second. Chair recognizes Councilman Cohen.
I move to amend the bill, which is on the member's desk.
Thank you. All those in favor of amending this bill, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. The amendment is approved. Chair recognizes Councilman Cohen.
Mr. Cohen, Mr. President, roll call for advancement to final passage on the same day.
Roll call.
President Scott,
Yes.
Councilman Cohen,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCray. Councilwoman McCray,
Yes.
Councilman Dorsey,
Yes.
Councilman Schleifer,
Yes.
Full Vice President Middleton,
Yes.
Councilman Pinkett,
Yes.
Councilman Burnett,
Yes.
Councilman Bullock,
Yes.
Councilman Reisinger,
Yes.
Councilman Costello,
Yes.
Councilman Stokes. Councilman Stokes? I believe Councilman Stokes has some technical difficulties. We're going to come back to him. Councilwoman Snead.
Yes.
Okay. Councilwoman Clark.
Yes.
Point of order.
Chair recognizes Councilman Henry.
Yeah, I should vote.
You skipped Councilman Henry, so please get him.
My apologies, Councilman Henry.
Yes.
All right, the ayes have it. Please note Councilman Stokes as a. Oh, there he is.
Councilman Stokes. Councilman Stokes, you're muted, so I'm not sure if you're trying to say yes or no to the bill.
What bill? My was down. What bill are we talking?
Councilman, this is 20-0525. Is this a conditional use zoning bill? 316 East 21st Street.
Okay, yes.
Okay, Mr. President, the vote is unanimous.
Thank you. This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 20-0529, property tax, in rem foreclosure and sale, vacant and abandoned property.
Chair recognizes Councilman Burnett. Councilman Burnett?
Point of order, sir. I'm not sure. I don't have anything on this one.
Oh, you do not? Okay, thank you. Yeah, without objection, we will hold this bill for one meeting. This bill will be held for one meeting.
City Council Bill 20-0531, rezoning 3006, 2926, and 2928 Boardman Avenue and Block 3185, Lot 49. President Scott, Cohen, McCray, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Snead, Clark.
This bill is approved. Committee announcements. Members, when you hear your committees, please proceed with any committee announcements that you might have. We will start today with budget and appropriation. Councilman Costello.
Mr. President, I don't have any announcements.
Thank you. Education and Youth Committee, Councilman Cohen.
No, sir.
Equity and Structure, Councilman Henry.
Mr. President, I don't have any committee announcements to make, but I'm unclear as to why 20-0529 was being held one meeting.
Councilman, I'll have a discussion with you about that.
Oh, okay. Well, it looks like the councilwoman from the 14th would like to be part of that discussion as well.
Yep.
Thank you.
Executive Appointments Committee, Councilman Stokes.
No, now.
All right. Health Committee, Councilman Burnett.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a couple. On Wednesday, August 5th, 2020, the Health Committee will hold a hearing on Resolution 20-0231R, informational hearing, bringing back Victory Gardens. Hold on, I have two more. All right, on Tuesday, August 18th, 2020 at 10 a.m., the Health Committee will have a hearing on Council Resolution 20-0217R, informational hearing, sanitization of buildings under the Rental Assistance Demonstration Program and HUD Regulatory Authority. Excuse my reading now. And the last one. On Tuesday, August 18th, 2020 at 10:05, the Health Committee will hold a hearing on Resolution 20-0220R, Department of General Services update on sanitizing city-owned buildings. That is all. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman. Nothing for legislative investigation.
No, I don't have anything. But
Housing and Urban Affairs Committee, Councilman Bullock.
Mr. President, nothing this evening.
Thank you. Labor Committee, Councilman Snead.
Yes, the Labor Committee would like to reannounce two committee hearings, Bill number 20-0562, the Baltimore City Police Officials Residential Requirements on Thursday, August the 20th at 1 p.m. And then Bill number 18-0110R, investigative hearing for residential requirements for city officials for Thursday, August the 20th at 1:05 p.m. Both will be WebEx virtual hearings.
Thank you. Thank you. Land Use Committee, Councilman Ratzinger.
No announcements, Mr. President.
All right. Public Safety Committee, Councilman Stryker.
No announcements, thank you.
Thank you. Taxation, Finance, and Economic Development, Council Vice President Middleton.
No announcements. Thank you.
And last but not least, Transportation Committee, Councilman Dorsey.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I am really struggling here with the Transportation Department. I requested some very basic information from them on June 30th, and I still don't have any answer to some very basic information requests as per what are our policies on traffic calming requests. I mentioned this at one of our, maybe the last council meeting, maybe the one before that if I didn't get an answer, that I was going to call an informational hearing. But I want to give the Department of Transportation every bit of patience that I can muster in this matter. And so I'm not going to call that hearing today, but I absolutely will at the next council meeting if I don't get a satisfactory answer. I think it's really unacceptable that we ask, that when we ask city agencies for basic information about existing policies that they are actively acting on, and to which the public are subject, that we don't get prompt and complete answers to those kind of questions. It's really, I think it's not in the public interest for us to have to beg and plead just to get basic information from these city agencies. But I'm going to hold on to this request for right now. Thank you, Mr. Council President.
Thank you. Thank you. Regular announcements. I will start off by asking that Council Vice President Middleton honor a moment of silence for the now 189 victims of homicide in the city of Baltimore. We had some continued violence this weekend where we know someone lost their life, and we know that we cannot lose sight of this. And even in this COVID-19, which we know is also spiking, and I will get to that in a second, but we have to remain vigilant on gun violence in Baltimore, and in particular on the individuals who continuously bring violence to other people in our communities. I know that we're having a council staff oversight hearing with the police department shortly, and look forward to talking with and pressuring the police commissioner's team about how we are dealing with, what plans are to dealing with those individuals who are wreaking havoc on our families and our communities. Also, would like to honor a moment of silence now, Vice President, for all those that we've lost to COVID and the ongoing opioid crisis, overdose crisis as well. We know again that COVID-19 is not over. Everyone is spiking, especially in certain areas of the city. I know that Councilman Cohen has been working diligently to get the word out in his district as an area that has been a hot spot. We know that young people have to start to take COVID-19 serious, as we are the leading members of people who are contracting COVID and growing in those numbers as reflected by the health department. Again, this is us about being responsible. You may not get sick if you're young, but you very may well get sick. But you also have the opportunity to continue to help this virus spread. We all have to be responsible in taking not just our lives, but the lives of everyone that we come in contact with, every person that we love, everyone that we say that we care about, by being responsible, practicing physical distancing, wearing masks, washing our hands, and just overall taking the advice of public health professionals as we continue to deal with COVID-19. The last thing that I would say before I go to my colleagues is that I think that the veto that the mayor did today of the city administration bill is very unfortunate. I think we know that I've been talking for years about this piece of legislation helping Baltimore practice best practices, trying to move our city government to be in line with the 21st century practices that we see in all of the counties surrounding us in the two major cities that we sit in between, in Washington, D.C. and the city of Philadelphia. This is not and was never about minimizing the mayor's power. It's about making sure that Baltimore City is operating in an efficient and effective manner with practices and policies that have been proven to work not just around the country, but in our own backyard in Baltimore County and Howard County and so on and so forth. This is something that I think that we still have to do moving forward in Baltimore. We cannot continue, as is often said to us, to be the hole in the donut. If we want Baltimore to be better, we have to put better practices, better fight policies in place to make sure that our city is being operated in the professional manner that it should. Thank you. Thank you for your time tonight. Let's see. I will start with, if you have your camera on, I will come to you for regular announcements as you appear on my screen, starting with, he's gone, so Councilman Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your comments about COVID-19. For those of you that are baseball fans, there's a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. His name's Eduardo Rodriguez. You're asking what he has to do with Baltimore City. Absolutely nothing. He has no connection to Baltimore City. But he's a 27-year-old professional athlete with no pre-existing health conditions, which means he's in pretty good physical shape and takes care of himself. Mr. Rodriguez was recently diagnosed with COVID-19 and contracted myocarditis, which involves the inflammation of the heart muscle. So if you are 27 years old or you are young and you think you are invincible and think that COVID-19 cannot impact you and you will just get over it, you are deadly wrong. This disease does not discriminate, although it does discriminate, but it will attack young people and it will get you. So I just want to encourage everyone out there, please wear your mask in public. There's a reason why it's required. Please practice social distancing. Please. People's lives depend on it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilman Bullock.
No announcements tonight, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Clark.
I would just like to say one thing about Baltimore City. We live under the United States Constitution. One of the things I find myself worrying about a lot is when I see these federal unidentified men and women, I guess, going into cities where there are peaceful demonstrations going on and actually causing a chaos by their being there, by their actions. I have asked, and I say this to the council as well, we at a local level and the state of Maryland statewide should be prepared to state if this should occur or begin to occur to us, all the constitutional reasons that we decline the offer. And I really hope our city solicitor is working on some statement and some document, and I hope that our at the state level, our Attorney General is doing the same. I don't want to just have to say, oh, this is wrong. I want to make it clear how unconstitutional this action is, where I have seen it in other cities and where we are better than that, and that's what's wrong with it. It's not allowed in a free nation such as our own. Thank you very much for your attention. I don't usually preach.
Thank you, Councilwoman, and I fully expect the city solicitor and our great folks to have something for us to say officially on how we can work on that. Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes. You're on mute, Mr. Councilman.
Sorry. I just want to give a moment of silence to, hold on. One moment. on the side was Dr. Joseph Costa, the chief of critical care, vision and emergency hospital, who passed through. The three patients with COVID-19 died of COVID itself on Saturday. So we know, we take it for granted about this COVID-19. Now we have a doctor here in Baltimore who actually were treating patients, and he actually passed away. So Moment South with Dr. Joseph Costa. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Councilman. Chair recognizes Council Vice President Milton.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next meeting of the City Council will be held on Monday, August 17th, 2020 at 5 p.m. Here virtually. And may we have a moment of silence for Dr. Joseph Costa, the 189 families and victims of homicide, the opioid epidemic, and the COVID pandemic. And may we continue to mask up, do your 6 feet social distancing, and continued washing your hands. Thank you.
Thank you. There being no further business, this concludes the 89th meeting of the 72nd term of the Baltimore City Council.